Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Save a Seat series here on Patreon. As always, I'm your podcast host, Chloe, and we are continuing our Issue 10 Contributor Chat series, but it looks a little bit different this week. I am joined by two students, two wonderful people from the IU Kelley School of Business, who are talking today about their educational journey, some of the lessons that they have learned along the way, what it looks like for them to be business students and eventually business professionals. So I am joined by Victoria and Morgan, who are both sophomores now.
Yes.
Wonderful. And they are at the IU Kelley School of Business, which, as I mentioned in our Spotify episode, is definitely very near and dear to our hearts. Our founder, Ariana, is an alum of the IU Kelley School of Business, and they still work closely with us to try to make our mission of making opportunities reachable for everyone possible. So shout out to the IU Kelley School of Business. Thank you so much. And thank both of you for joining me again for this podcast. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks, Chloe, for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'm so glad when I get to talk to young professionals about the things that they're passionate about and what they look forward to. So let's get into it. Let's kick it off on a high note. You have both finished your first year at IU Kelley School of Business. You've gotten to make some connections, take some classes, and also join some great organizations. Get yourselves involved in some groups that will only serve to make you more well-rounded, more interesting people. So tell me, what is one valuable lesson that you've learned since beginning your college journey? We can start with you, Victoria.
The biggest lesson I've learned is the importance of human connection. Everything you do revolves interacting with humans, and in the future, robots maybe. But so far, it's just humans. And as a leader, no matter what your major is, it's key to know how to interact with people, how to communicate clearly. And that has been one of the greatest pieces of advice I've received is um, not burning bridges was the direct quote. And another thing is taking the time to get involved. Coming up, like in high school, I didn't have any prior experience in any extracurriculars. I only did basketball and track for like my first year. And then I was just focused on the academics. And I mean, for me, it worked. However, when I started college, I knew that I wanted to make a change and make an impact. And the only way you can do that and get experiences by getting involved in clubs. I know that IU has so many clubs, and I've been blessed to get into Women in Business, the Marketing Club, Student Activities Programming Board, clubs that not only are meant to help the Kelley students, but also IU students in general.
Yeah. Broaden your horizons, introduce you to new people, make you try things you haven't tried before.
Yes.
What's
It's
been the most valuable experience in these clubs so far?
Well, I had the opportunity to be part of Hall Council for the University Tower, which is one of the residences we have at IU Indianapolis. And through that org, I was able to get experience into what it's like to create an event or an activity for a big group of students and what it's like to like try to satisfy all their needs and all the things that they like, all their interests, which can be very difficult, but at the same time it's very rewarding when you see the community and the students interacting with each other. It's the best feeling.
Yeah, that's so rewarding. And I can imagine how difficult it is because the more people you get involved, the more interests are going to be varied and, the energy levels are going to change. But I visited Ariana a couple of times in the tower. She spent some time there as well. And there's just kind of there's a culture, there's a vibe there. Everybody kind of tries to be part of the same community. So even if they do have those diverse interests and wants, it seems like they can come together for an event like that.
Yes, it was great.
That's excellent. How about you, Morgan? Can you touch on a valuable lesson you've learned since beginning your journey?
Mm-hmm. Something that I've learned, and it may be a little bit cliche, but is to apply, to attempt. All of my accomplishments have been just me tossing my hat in the ring. I have achieved a lot by just applying to applications that I wasn't necessarily maybe qualified for. One of the highlights was my study abroad program. As a freshman, getting into a study abroad program, that's very rare. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I was the only freshman in my group. We were a very large group, it was a very diverse group as well. We had about 35 kids come, and
Wow.
a lot of times we had to be broken up into two separate groups, which was almost about, I think, the average size of a regular study abroad group, because we were so big and we wanted to learn, and we wanted to learn everything we could and explore everything.
Yeah. What was the application process like for the study abroad?
Oh, it
I
was
was there.
It was through the iAbroad, and the main thing I remember was the actual like application paper that was on there. And I remember I wrote a story, a little story, and my dad, he previously worked for Cummins, and then he switched over to Atmos Filtrations, which was like a subsidiary of Cummins, and then it like became its own company.
Mhm.
And so my dad, he would have to go to Tokyo, Japan, at Cummins there, and he would work with um, I don't know who he worked with, gotta be honest, but he would work with employees with Cummins, and he would like bring me back souvenirs and stuff. And I remember writing about one of the souvenirs he got me. It was a woman. She had like an umbrella, one of those sun umbrellas, and she was wearing a kimono, and it was really gorgeous.
That is so cool. You got to have that, treasured keepsake. And then all those years later, you followed in his footsteps, ended up doing, you know, a small version of what he was doing. And who knows, you may go back for more opportunities, but you've opened that door, you've crossed that bridge into that opportunity. So that is super exciting.
Hmm. And I also remember how well when I told my parents I got into the study abroad and that we were going to Cummins, my dad, he reached out to a person in Tokyo who works for Cummins. His name is Kei Sato, and um, it actually happened to be that Kei Sato was the person overseeing us coming there, and so it was really tremendous. And I got to meet him, and it was incredible.
Yeah, that is amazing how it all works out, even though all the way across the world, it is still a small one.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So, issue 10, which IU Kelley School of Business was featured in as one of our partners, it is all about influence, the kind of influence that you have on others, the kind of influence that other people have on you, the kind of influence that your life can have in unexpected ways. So, you guys are learning how to have an influence on the business world, on other people, on the communities that you're in. What kind of influence are you hoping to have now in your education and then post graduation when you enter the workforce? We can start with you, Victoria.
Whew. I was born in Venezuela, and my parents, as immigrants, they work 24/7. And when I started my internship at Elanco, I remember feeling like like acknowledging how fortunate I was to be able to work in a safe environment with air conditioning, with good lighting, things that we tend to not really take the time to analyze or think about,
Right.
but make a big difference in your experience. Um, and with that, one of my dreams is to have my own company and have a company that not only accepts people who have an education in their home countries, but also providing them an opportunity to grow and develop in the US. And just becoming a leader that's approachable, that anyone, no matter their their level or their hierarchical level, everyone can reach out to and have a one-on-one.